Hello everyone, happy 2024. I know it's already 2 weeks into the new year and I'm supposed to have this whole year review thing in the rearview mirror at this point. Well, what I say to that is it's never too late to review, reflect, and plan ahead. This New Year time is just a convenient time to do all of this because so much of our systems flow around the calendar year. Usually I scoff at these predetermined efforts that the world sets before us that we should be doing and acknowledging at these certain times. But this whole collective reflect and plan ahead time, this I can get behind. I am also doing Dry January and I loosely have a word of the year. Who am I becoming? I'm really someone who loves behind the scenes stuff. Call me nosy. I call it nothing. I don't have a word for it. But it's just a big curiosity for me. All of this year in review stuff and this planning ahead stuff that people are putting up on the internet right now is totally up my alley. Therefore, I have decided to do one myself. So let's get into it. Before I reflected on 2023, I genuinely thought I wasn't going to have much to show for it. This is what I love about reflecting. What you initially remember and what you discover during your reflection time is or can be beautifully different. I discovered that I did some pretty cool things in 2023 and some things that totally fell flat and I'm going to be learning from going forward. Now, just like the rest of us, I have a lot on my plate, so I'm going to kind of break it up between my business review and my personal life review, which is, fun fact, kind of how I split up my to-do list. So this is in no particular order, but here are my business wins. First up, a new website. Again. So in summer 2022 had me launching a fully overhauled website via Showit. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's fine. Then last January, I hired an amazing consultant just to try to help me get reviews up on this Showit website. Well, it turned into this whole audit process that she offered, and I was like, yeah, I would love to. And she audited my whole website, and as I suspected from the very start, Showit was not a great option for a product-based business. So I had to swallow the hard pill that I just spent $5,000 on a website that I had to redo again for even more money. I could have made it work, I could have pushed through, but it just didn't make any sense going forward and I was just going to be bullheaded. So I just bit the bullet and went forward with it. Now that I'm on the other side of it, I can 1000% say it was the right choice. And I couldn't have done it without the genius of Grace from Grace and Grows and her team. She just has amazing vision, strategy, and know-how. She's just brilliant. I'm so lucky I found her, and I'm so lucky that she walked me through that whole process. So thank you, Grace, if you're watching. So now on the other side of it, my website is such a better customer experience and a better experience for myself too. So I'm going to call that my first big win of 2023. Next up, new email marketing. So speaking of Grayston, next on our docket was moving over my email marketing system from Flowdesk to Klaviyo and building out all the systems and the flows and the words I'm supposed to know here. Segments, lists, campaigns. Does that sound right? Did I cover it? Again, I was a genius of Grace that helped me set all that up. That was in November. And it's already made such a difference. Number 3, I created a planner for somebody. Over the summer, I created an entire planner, minus production, but from scratch to here's your fully delivered PDF. It only took 5 million hours, and I severely undercharged for it, but my client was really happy with it, and it taught me a big lesson too. My husband called it a school project because it felt like I was basically paying to do it, even though that wasn't the case, but just in hours. And so it's a big lesson, but overall, I'm proud of it. She's proud of it. And that I learned things for going forward. Next up is launching the 2024 products. The amount of time and money it takes to design and manufacture a product is bonkers. And every time I do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much time this actually takes. Let alone 3 different planners, a monthly planner, 2 A5 inserts, and 7 other products. So to say that I'm proud of this launch and everything I did with it is an understatement. But let me tell you, the moment that you get the samples, just the samples of those products that you worked so hard for in your hands, it's emotional every single time. I get a little teared up every time. It's the coolest thing. I would also be remiss if I didn't give credit to my amazing designer, Carla Pamanis, who we have worked together since I started Sprouted Planner, and basically that's when she started her agency too. So it's been amazing. She's just amazing. She's so talented. And so basically anything on the planner that is pretty, talking about cover designs, color palette, product slips, brand stuff, it's Carla. Carla, if you're watching, I love you, girl. You're amazing. Next on the list was I got a storage garage. So up until this last product haul, the 2024 product haul, I had everything stored in my garage, which is like behind this wall. And then with the amount of product I ordered, it was not going to fit, or that was the only thing that was going to fit in my garage, basically. So it was time for a storage garage. My husband ran with this one. He found a storage garage. He got everything, the account set up. He even stayed late one night and put up shelving in the complete dark with just like his headlight. Well, not complete dark, but he had his, headlamp on. But there's no electricity in there, so he's putting up these massive shelves in the dark with only a flashlight. He's the best. I made it to my first planner conference this year as well. I went to the Chicago Planner Conference in November, and it was awesome and awkward all rolled into one. I'm so glad I got to experience it, but yeah, my introvert self is still recovering. Next up, my office makeover. So you can see part of it in the background here. I feel incredibly fortunate to be working in a beautiful space now. So we moved into this house, actually pretty much exactly 7 years ago, and I had been working out of a very lackluster office since then. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel super fortunate to have an office at all, but honestly, it was kind of sucking the joy out of me, especially since I spend a lot of time in this room. Between my kind of morning quiet times, I work out down here, I do my planning down here, and then the biggest chunk of it is I work down here too. So I spent a lot of time in here, and it was due time to make some changes with it. I spent a pretty penny to have someone do it for me, and I suspect that she undercharged me for the time and resources that it took for her to do it, but nonetheless, I am just tickled with it. It's all thanks to Kristen Hannock, who is an absolute gem to work with. Now over to the personal side of things. First up, I finished therapy and weaned off of antidepressants, which is a really big deal. So without getting too much into it, I spent the majority of 2022 in very bad shape, and I didn't take it seriously until it was almost too late. I don't say that lightly or flippantly. It got really dark and scary. Well, looking back on it now, I think it was a long time coming, and I kept excusing it. Like, after this, it will get better. Like, oh, it's just because of this. And I just kept shoving it down until my world just went gray. I'm so thankful for therapy, good therapy, and antidepressants for pulling me out of that very dark hole. Slowly, over 2023, after the color returned to my world, quite literally, it felt like, I scaled back therapy and antidepressants until I felt strong enough to stop them both. It was a little rocky during that process, during the stopping of both of those, but I'm so happy to say that I'm in a much better place, and I actually feel joy and happiness again, and I have for a while. Next up, I found my faith again in 2023. What do I even say about this one? It's so tender to me, and not like can be crushed easily, but in a very near and dear to my heart way. The transformation of my faith from last January to this day has been the single most important thing that has happened this year. I can say that without a doubt. And I really feel like I am home again. Whew. Okay, let's keep it going. Okay, next up was marriage therapy. More therapy. Out of respect to my very private husband and respect to our marriage, that I'm not going to say much about this one. Also, I don't think we talk about our marriages enough and how that's hard. It's great and it's hard. And sometimes at the same time, sometimes separately. So there wasn't any transgressions that happened. There wasn't any one or two bad things that happened. It's just that loss, kids, COVID, adult pressures, depression, roles, work, life just takes a toll on marriage. We had to get back to good, and so we did. And we found that we still really love each other and like each other. And it didn't take much for us to regain our footing. Apparently, communication works. Like every relationship, it's always ongoing work, but I can happily say that we are solid. Okay, so for some house stuff, we have this really small house. We're in an amazing neighborhood. Our house is tiny. But we have this crawl space area that is almost the entire length of our house. So it has been really great for our kids to play in. The problem was it was just like cement floors and the pink insulation on the walls that were covered in plastic, and that was it. And then like shelves along the side that was full of our storage crap. We pretty much renovated it. So I say we, like it was my husband, let's be honest. I'm gonna say we, it makes me feel better. Just go with it. Pulled out all the pink insulation. He spray foamed it. He put up cedar planks, shiplap. I don't know. He put up wood on the walls, but it looks good. And then on the floor, because our kids were doing scooters down there and running around willy-nilly, we really didn't want them to crack their heads open. So we put down like rubber matting that you find at the gym. And then from there, we've gotten a cute couple Lego tables, and my mom this Christmas bought us all beanbag chairs and some shelving, and we're still working on organizing it. There's still more like decoration stuff we want to do, but the kids love being down there even more. We like being down there too. Another great thing that worked for us on the personal side was camping. We have a camper, and we did a lot of camping trips this summer as a family, and it was just really fun, including a trip that was on my bucket list. And then lastly, this sounds so silly, I ate a lot of ice cream with my kids this summer, which doesn't seem like anything worth celebrating, but I never used to order ice cream because I don't eat a ton of dairy anyway, so it was that and whatever other excuses. And but I think this really refers back to how I am doing and feel so much better. And it's just ice cream in the summer is just such a joyful, innocent thing. And so I just joined in pretty much every single time we went and got ice cream, and it seemed like a lot this year. So it was just fun. It was a good, just simple and innocent memory that I loved that I participated in. And now for my business fails. First up, I dipped even more into debt this year. I put quotes around it because you'll see here in a second. So for the massive amount of product that I created this time, I had to pull from one of our investment funds. This is already on top of my maxed out line of credit that is backed by our 6-month emergency fund. That is now pointless since we cannot access it until I pay off said line of credit. This is also on top of another credit card that's maxed out. It doesn't feel good. Next up, I still haven't paid myself a dime. As long as we're feeling depressed about money, might as well throw in here that even though I really wanted this to be the year, or last year to be the year that this changed, well, to this very day, the 11th of January, I still have not paid myself a dime from this business. Yeah. Let's just move on. Moving on, the next fail is summer planning. So over the summer, I really wanted to have a full summer planning experience. I created a decent size printable packet along with a live webinar, which epically failed because I don't know how to do live webinars, and I didn't figure that out until it was basically time to do said live webinar. So I made a private YouTube video and sent it to the people who had bought it, but I also wanted it just to be like this immersive experience where we talked about But I just wanted to help people with like meal planning and summer rhythms and what was working in our house and what wasn't and what was changing, and just summers are beautiful and tough at the same time. So I really wanted that to be an involved thing. It just didn't happen like I wanted it to, or really at all. I didn't have the bandwidth. Another thing that did not work out or was a bummer in 2023 was major burnout and wanting to quit every day, basically. So this year I experienced major burnout, especially during the lead up to launch. I don't know how else to say it except for doing this whole thing is so much work, and one that I'm doing mostly alone except for the above mentioned people. It spreads me too thin. It puts stress on my entire household, and not paying myself or family a dime is insult to injury. Every morning I woke up really excited about the business, and by the end of the day, if it even got that far, I wanted to quit. I'm still tired and I still don't know if I want to go on, but I also can't imagine quitting, you know? I had to shift my screen and camera because this is the situation right now. Sun. So if I'm by the end of the video doing this, that's why. All right, so now that we've looked back, let's look forward. So I'm taking everything I learned from 2023 and from reflecting on that and putting it into practice for 2024. Most of the stuff is going to be business related. I have a lot of personal stuff too, but we'll just keep it more business side of things. Starting with outsourcing. I cannot keep this pace up. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to my business. That is just, there can be so much more that I would love to do and can be done that I just don't have time for. And most of all, it's not fair to my family. So I'm going to definitely be outsourcing this year. I don't know when or how or what that's going to look like, but I imagine that I need some sort of admin help or virtual assistance. I don't think I need a ton of this, but just some help in the admin space. I for sure need marketing help, which is my least favorite thing to do. And like my biggest weakness is marketing. And it's what I spend my most time on, and I need to be spending it elsewhere. So marketing, and then I also would love to outsource my product photography and all the product pictures that you see when you're looking through planners and products. I want to have someone else set those up and just have them sent to me once they're all done, because that takes so much freaking work. Next is getting a business coach. Why have I not done this yet? I don't know, but it is high time. This is the year I'm going to be getting one, and hopefully starting in February. Next up, scale down product focus. I went way too wide last year. I spent way too much money. Everything was not a hit, and this year I'm just going to simplify things. So I'm really going to focus on the planners and accessories that can directly be plugged into the planners or really complement them. Okay, third, but certainly not third, is start paying myself. Nothing more to say there. It's just got to happen now, or I'm just doing a very elaborate and expensive hobby here. Next, get out of debt, as we talked about before. With the exception of the aforementioned credit card, my only debt is from the personal side of things. So I would really like to untie that and pay that back, put it back into our investment account, and stay out of debt, both actual and personal, moving forward. So I mentioned loosely having a word of the year, and if I were to have a word of the year, I'm not committing anything, it would be systems. So I really want to focus on living and dying by systems. That sounds a little dramatic. I have a real problem with focus. Maybe it's ADHD. I feel like everyone says that. Or maybe it's just being a mom in this crazy world of technology. Either way, my current system of what and how I spend my time isn't working. So I'm developing systems to help with that. I have to be smarter with my time. Next thing that I want to focus on for 2024 is doing my priorities. I'm so guilty of putting down, like, here's my priorities for the month, here's my priorities for the week, here are my priorities for the day, and then doing everything except for those priorities. Like, what is wrong with me? This needs to stop. And it all plays into systems. Lastly, I would like to complete all the damn courses that I have bought over the years. Very specifically, these 2 courses. Ashlyn Wright's program, Copywriting for Creatives, which is so good. I have done about 1/3 of it, and it's just amazing. So I can't wait to finish that, including her fabulous membership, the Copybar Collective. And then secondly, Multistream Machine by the Product Boss. And I refuse to pay for any more memberships until I'm done with these 2. So Marie Forleo, please stop tempting me with Time Genius right now, even though that might actually really help with my systems. Wrapping this up now. On the personal side of things, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing to care for myself. It's not self-care, it's survival. Kind of that's how I feel. I'm not in any sort of crisis anymore, and I feel very strong. This isn't just like self-care now, it's survival to stay in this place. I'm gonna really keep paying close attention to the things that are must for me: sleep, eating, exercise, joy, laughter, and execution of my values and intentions, which are for me, God, marriage, health, mental and physical, kids, my people, and creative and fulfilling work. Now I really am. We're about over here at this point. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys for watching this all the way through. I would love to know one of 2 things. What is something that you really want to be focusing on for 2024? And what of these areas that I talked about would you like me to dive more into? So those are your big questions that I would love to hear from you below. So thank you for watching, for spending your precious time hearing me yammer on about my previous year and the year ahead. I hope it's worthwhile. I love listening to these, so hopefully you love listening to it. I appreciate you guys so much. Your comments, your likes, all of that. It really means so much to me. Even though I am burned out, I really love doing this and connecting with you guys. So thank you for everything all these years, or if you're just joining me now today. Okay, so I wish I had like some champagne. Well, remember dry January, so it would be like apple juice, sparkling apple juice, but I would hold it up and really just say cheers to the year ahead, and I hope we come out of it stronger in our relationships and just a little bit better than we went into it. Thanks, guys. I don't know how to acknowledge my wins appropriately. Tickled your curiosity? God, that sounds wrong.